Alright guys, there we go. We're on phase I don't know what of our happy little 142 Super Duty conversion. Now you can see we've got Mr. Joe's Echo board nicely installed. Everything around this, everything's tapped in, nice and local, nice and quick, nice and clean. Now this guy wants channels in this radio, and everybody's you guys want channels in these 142s, and that's great, but this is not a real convenient radio to channel. That's the easiest way to say it. You can do it. You can do anything to anything, but this is not a real convenient radio to channel. So I'm going to show you the right way to do this kind of a conversion. And, you know, I had a buddy of mine ask me, he says, well, why are you showing this stuff, showing these guys how to do this? Aren't you afraid they're going to do it? I'm like, yeah, I am. Because I'm getting a little silly with looking at these radios that, you know, some of these guys are doing stuff to them and looking up little tricks online, and you don't understand what you're doing when you do what you're doing. And if you don't understand what you're tapping into and what you're changing around, you don't know if what you're doing is harmful or beneficial. So the 142 chassis really wants a different reference crystal to achieve the higher channels. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to do it the right way. Some guys will take a 5-position switch and just throw it in there and make their own little crystal bank. Guys, here's the problem with that. Your radio runs on a reference. Okay, this is your reference crystal, and the 142 is an 1111, and I think it's a 25. It's 1111. Oh, it's an 1111 crystal. Okay, that's right. It's 1111, whatever. Okay, bottom line is 1111 23, whatever. It's an 1111. That's the. Now in a 2000. This is an 1111, or this is an 11.32 crystal, okay? And in the 2000, this pin is isolated. So that shifts the reference on this PLL to the 1132, to the 11.32 crystal. This chassis has a dual reference circuit of some kind where a 2000, I think, has a single or reverse. I'm not sure. Anyway, one's one setup, one's the other. This one requires this crystal. The 2000 requires the different crystal. Now, the benefit with the 2000 is you can just take it and add a couple toggle switches, a 1000 or a 2000 or a 148, anything that's got the the 1111 or the MB8790 chain chip, and this pin is isolated. Then you can go ahead and ground this pin, ground the pin next to it, and you can come up with 2 sets of uppers and a set of lowers. This radio will not allow you to do that. When you first pop it open, if you just short these 2 pins to ground, what you're going to get is your lower bank. That's all it's going to give you. So to get to the uppers, there's 1 or 2 ways to do it. And I've tried them all, and this is the way we're going to settle on this radio. What we've done is we've removed the 1111 crystal. It's coming out, and it is going into not just a rotary switch, but a crystal bank. Okay, guys, if you're going to do a conversion like this, you look at it, and it's not rocket science. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just showing you the right way to do it. I'm not building all this stuff from scratch. You know, this is not, like I said, it's not rocket science. But the stuff is available for you guys to modify these radios without tearing them up, and that's my point. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make a video for this. Quickly, I'm gonna explain to you the benefit of this board. If you can't see it by just looking at it, then you probably should be having your technician do a modification like this for you anyway. But if you look at this board and you already see what the difference is these little yellow guys right here. These are variable capacitors. What that's going to allow me to do is I'm going to take this crystal out of here and I'm going to put it in bank 1. That's going to be my normal channels. But now what's going to happen when I do that? I've already aligned the radio with the crystal living in the chassis. So now the radio is in complete alignment, transmit and receive AM upper sideband, lower sideband. So now I'm going to take, so now it's at that point and you guys want to channel it. Well, great. But first, you've got to put your modification in and make it work on regular 40 channels first. Don't do the whole modification and then take off trying to align everything at the radio. If you do this conversion right, this is your itinerary. You're going to pop this crystal once the radio's been aligned properly. Then you're going to take this guy. Now, this gentleman wants it out the front. We really don't have a lot of options because of the length of the board. Okay, we can't put it in like this because it's going to stick on the top of the console. Our option only is he's going to come out the front. And since he's already put his echo board out the front, and you can see in the pictures, before this video, I showed you the right way to put the echo board in. If you've opened your radio and your echo board's been installed with electrical tape, and this control is sticking way the frick out here, fire your technician. He's lazy. That's the way an echo board's supposed to be installed, mounted. Not even necessarily having this particular board. I'm saying any echo board. You put it in and you mount it securely. This way, it's grounded to the chassis. It's solid. It's not going to move. It's not going to get damaged. It's not going to overheat being wrapped in freaking electrical tape, already being exposed to this hostile environment with heat as it is. So now let's get back to the channel here. We're gonna put this guy in. He's gonna come out the front. Okay, he's gonna come out the front right here. And I'm gonna show you the right way to pop a hole in one of these. Everybody takes the drill and then you wonder why your freaking hole's over here and not where it's supposed to be. Guys, this is simple. You're gonna drill a pilot hole first. Make sure it's centered. If not, at least if your pilot hole's small, you can adjust where you're gonna put the rest of your freaking hole. It's not rocket science, guys. It's just basic steps to follow. So we're gonna pop our pilot hole, and we're gonna pop the right size over. We're gonna get this channel kit and we're gonna get it centered. Let's call it what it is. It's a crystal bank. We're gonna install a crystal bank properly in front of the radio, and then, nice. You want me to work on your radios while I'm dropping your parts. Anyway, we're gonna put this guy in there. But before I do that, because the pins on the original crystal are very short, guys. Okay, see this? This is one that's been soldered in. These are they're pretty durable when it comes to heat. I mean, you can solder them and unsolder them a couple times, but you don't want to get wonky with it because like any other electronic device, it's sensitive to heat. As the radio warms up, if you can watch it on a frequency counter, oftentimes like my 2000 Super Duty over here. Once it's warmed up, this counter never leaves, whatever channel I'm on, .50. I mean, it's 50. Oh, he got me, 51. But that's what happens when you got 10-turn clarifiers. But I can take mine and dial it and lock it. And once again, I'm back to 50 everywhere. So, here's the thing. A proper alignment, and it's a 40-year-old radio. I can deal with a 1 kz shift on a freaking 150 channel radio. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the channels back in normal. We're going to get the basic. Now here the radio's aligned. We're done with that. With this crystal in this environment. So now what's going to happen is we're going to move this over to here. And we're going to install the crystal over here. And now we've added a length of wire. And that's going to change the reactivity of the circuit. So now once you do that, you're not on 50 anymore. You might even be a channel off. Sometimes I've seen it happen. The cool thing about this board is my chassis is in alignment as long as I feed it the reference that I aligned it with. So I'm going to pop that crystal in here now. For this, I'm going to unsolder this crystal socket. I'm going to install this crystal right to the bank. Then once I get it in here and solid and mounted where it's going to live, because anybody who's ever played with a channel kit knows sometimes if you install your kit and move your wires around, you watch your frequency go all wonky. So we're going to get this installed. We're going to get the wires pulled over and shielded the way they're supposed to live. Or if we have to shield them. Sometimes you got to put metal tape around this feed wire to make it stable. I don't know if we're going to have to do that on this one, but we're going to try it. So I'm going to get this mounted. I'm going to get the wire ran the way it lives. And then I'm going to turn the radio on, and if it's off frequency, which it's going to be, at least it's off frequency in sync with itself because I've already aligned it with the crystal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the crystal in here, and I'm going to align this crystal back to the radio instead of going in here and driving all my freaking references wonky, trying to realign a radio to a crystal that's off frequency because you changed the length of the wire. Okay, so now we get that crystal in here, we get it mounted, and then I'm going to dial the radio back to 50 on AM with this guy right here, the very first cap, very first variable cap. All I'm going to do is dial the radio back to 50 right here. I'm going to leave the radio alone, guys. Stop it. There's no reason why your transmit and receive should be out of sync and your 50 should be off when you go from AM to sideband. There's no need for it. If the radio's healthy, you can do a conversion like this and it'll be fine. So check out the pictures that are coming after this video. I'm going to go step by step how to pop this guy in, and then at the end we'll show you a video of how it came out. And like everything else, it's going to be fine. So check it out. Keep watching. Okay, here we go. You saw the pictures. We got the channel kit installed, and what we did was because the original crystal was soldered in, I just decided, well, and I've done it before, so I did it on this one. Leave the sockets in, but quickly, so you don't overheat them. Solder your reference crystals to the other side of the board. Although some guys will tell you, don't do that, don't take a solder gun into those crystals if you don't have to, and that's true, but I've been soldering for a long time. So now this guy has 2 sets of uppers and 1 set of lowers on another switch over here when we're done. But just quickly, our crystal conversion, all the way to this switch, front switch, all the way down. He has regular channels, skip one, and I do that skip one for a reason. These crystals right next to each other, sometimes on these older radios will pick up stuff off of each other. I'll probably end up putting a ground across all 3 of these cases, but for right now, they're functional. Keep in mind, we still have to align the radio. Okay, the radio's not been aligned yet, but it is going to its proper places. So on the regular 40 channel band, which is this all the way down, right now we're on 21, which is a little off frequencies, not 215. We got to dial it down to 5. But here, show you how these work. Now, we skip one for reference or for safety. Go to the next one up. This one takes us to our first set of uppers, takes them up to 65.3, which I got to dial that one to 5.5. But with these guys, the nice thing is I can dial each crystal in now without jerking the rest of the radio around. So then we have another blank, and then the third set of uppers, which in the end is going to take them all the way up to 2804, I believe. There's channel 40, 2804, 4, which I'm going to dial it down to 5 with our caps. So there's our uppers. So now he's got 2 sets of uppers, 1 set of lowers, just like a 2000, and it's going to be stable, but this is what we had to do to make it happen, guys. Now, I'm sure there's other ways, but this is the way that I did it on this radio. I found that, every time I do it this way, when I can find these nice little crystal bank switches with the adjusters on them, that's freaking awesome. I'm going to order more of these from that guy. He's on eBay. We got our reference crystal from a guy in Michigan, I think. Mike or something. It's crystals. My wife knows that. But anyway, you can get them. You order your crystal. You order your exact offset. Like this one's going from 11.11 to 11.25. Okay, and that's taking it to our first bank. And then what we did was this third one right here is an 1132, which is the stock crystal for a 2000. That's one of our super duties right there. So he's all done with the high channels, and this is stable. No, we weren't able to just, some guys will change this crystal right here and just put the 1132 in here and isolate pin 1, but it throws it so wonky, the chassis does not like it. I know there's some guys that'll put a cap right there and try to do their own little tuner thing, and then you've got all that dancing around the circuitry, and it don't like it. So every one of these I've played with so far doesn't like it. The most stable way to do this conversion is a crystal conversion with a crystal bank switch where you can dial it in, and then it's good. So this very first 142 Super Duty is almost complete. We're going to nail this stinger board in. We're going to stab his stinger board in. So now he's got his echo boards, nice and neat. We got him new meters. All the controls have been refurbished. And now he's got, from regular channels, nice and classy, so, the channel knob caps all match. All the way down, he's on regular 40. 1, 2, next one, 1, 2, the next one. There's his 3 sets of uppers, and his lowers will end up going, this will take him down to where channel 15 is 2681, and it'll carry him all the way up into the 40 channel band. There it is, guys. It's almost done, the first 142 Super Duty. Alright, there we go. You guys have been watching. We've been doing this 142 Super Duty, and it's finally ready to stinger it up. We're going to call the owner here in a little while and give him some of the bad news that, man, look at them knobs reflecting off that panel we made. That's cool as hell. Anyway, give him the bad news that we had to turn it down. He got his 10-turn clarifier. These channels came out so nice. He goes to the left one. Bam, there's his lowers. Reads on his counter. Right there in the middle. It's regular channels, and he's got one bank of uppers, and yet another bank of uppers. All on the same switch, and you'll notice that counter's landing on 5-0 everywhere. Now, guys, this is the first one of these we've done, and when I usually make these conversions for a radio, I do it on my own stuff. But this guy wanted this one done up with a Super Duty conversion, like we do our 2000s, like that guy over there. And I said, why not? It's almost a 2000. Maybe we can make it a 2000. So we started, and if you've been watching, you see all the videos and all the work that's been done. Well, kind of backfired on us. This is why I don't like to do conversions or develop conversions on customers' chassis. This is actually the radio that Mr. Joe sent to us from Missouri. It died in our hands in the middle of the conversion. However, we don't leave anybody stuck for nothing. I called a guy and we got several 142s. And I rebuilt my man another one. Only now all the conversions were developed, and when we put them on this chassis, it worked. So this is Joe's new radio. Inside's all nice and neat. And we got our frequency display and echo board mounted. Get a nice shot of the bottom here. As usual, everything is as it should be, tied down in its place. Now, this frequency display, you'll see this little relay in here and that regulator. And that's one of my little gadgets. We had to make this frequency display not read on sideband because it is not. 142 is an animal when it comes to putting a display on. Anybody's tried to put one on it, they'll tell you it's not fun. I've had some guys tell me, oh, you just do this, this, and this. Okay, well, I did that, and that. And once again, I'm not a rocket scientist, but in 30 years I've been playing with these radios as a hobby. It's a pain in the butt. That's the way I was. It's a pain in the ass to put a counter on this radio. So we got one in here, and we had to do a lot of dancing to make it work. We also had to change the way we did its channels. I actually ended up, if you were watching, this was a crystal bank, and you can't see the little diodes on the other side of it, but we ended up making a different channel kit out of some stuff I had here, and I just made what I knew was going to work. And now he's got perfect channels. He goes down, he goes up, he go up even farther. I think this thing goes all the way up to 2804. All the way up to 28, yep, 0450. And then we go all the way down to the basement, channel 15, I believe, 268150. And check it out, boys and girls, 50 everywhere. This radio is ready to get its stinger board. I'm going to call Joe and have a conversation with him about his power and how it's going to end up. And at the end of all this is going to be a pretty kick-ass radio. I like it. All right, Joe, it's coming. We'll see you. Okay. Just wanted to give you guys a good look at the inside of this radio now. His stinger board is in. Mounted to the bottom of the lid like we do. Nice and neat. Right? All his wiring tied down. Nice and neat. Everything going everywhere. Is got our nice high resolution 10-turn clarifier. Our echo board controls our channel kit. Our echo board is nice and neatly mounted. Switching system for our freak display, 8-volt regulator for our freak display. This radio is just about ready to do our thing. Once again, his channels right here. Notice everything lands pretty much on 50. The way they're supposed to. Hey, and he had to go all the way up here to get him off a little bit. But and you lock it. Pretty neat channel kit. Now over here, you'll notice a third LED on the panel of this radio. When he turns his stinger board on, Now you can tell all the time, there's no question if he's accidentally got a stinger board on. So now let's go to the watt meter. We throttled him down quite a bit. I mean quite a bit, because this one was just railing too hard. We usually put him about 65 and 70. 60, 65, 70. This one came up right in that range by the time we got it stable. So we're going to go here. PA is regular radio, stinger's on, so regular radio. And get a little antenna action going on here. Or dummy load action, actually. And here we go. Alright, the radio. Two swing at about 20. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to turn our stinger board on. And just check our swing now. 70, 65, and 70. And that's it, boys and girls. We're going to put the lids on it. We're going to talk on it a little bit. Joe, it's done. It's officially done. We're putting the lids on it, and we're going to finish talking on it and send it to you. Thanks a lot, buddy. We'll see you.